is the King and Doc podcast. I am the Blunt Doctor, and joining in is my man King Hooley. Hooley, it has been a minute. What is up, my man? How are you doing?
Man, yeah, it has been a minute, and I feel like a lot has gone on. I mean, it's only been like 2 weeks since we've last recorded, but it feels like with the amount of shit that's been going on, it feels like it's been like 2 decades.
Yo, I mean, they built Alligator Alcatraz since we last recorded.
Yeah,
We
yeah, yeah.
went quickly in Florida. All right.
The concentration camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Concentration camp is a.
And why Alligator Alcatraz? Just because it's on an island. Alligator Auschwitz is way more appropriate.
Right, I mean, right, or whatever they call the detention centers that house the Japanese on the West Coast.
You know, I'm ashamed to say I don't know. I don't know any of those by name. I'm not apparently well versed in history. So that, you know, we can blame me for being an idiot on that one. Ignorance is not bliss on a podcast.
It happens sometimes, you know. We you know what I mean? I guess, you know, we don't have to know everything.
But we need to know some things.
Just know the stuff we talk about. That's all you have to do.
Fair enough.
Know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why I like to talk about Philly cheesesteak. So how was the family reunion, man? That's one reason we made. What's the Hooley reunion like? The Hooley Union.
It was great, man. Went down to my hometown, Mobile, Alabama. It was a very smaller one because a lot of people couldn't get out of work to attend this year. But it was fun though. It was great seeing all of my cousins. You know, I haven't seen in a couple years. It was great seeing my aunts, my uncles. You know, they're getting older, so I like to cherish those moments with them, and make those memories with them and shit like that. So it was pretty good, man. I blew out my hamstring racing my younger cousins and nieces and nephews and stuff like that. So gonna let it go, man. I had to realize that I am that uncle that does not have it anymore. And that's a tough pill to swallow.
Okay, so that's two things we share. Number one, I also don't have it anymore, so it's all good. And number two, I have family in Alabama, so it's just two more things that make this show special. But Joe, I'm with it, man. I don't have this. Is why I game hard, because I can still whoop these youngins' ass at Madden, even if I cannot come anywhere near doing anything. I took one of my nephews. Yeah, well, I took one of my nephews to the batting cages today, and we're working on his mechanics.
Right.
And, we're getting some positive work in. He hit like 178 pitches, so he put in some good work today. And over a couple hours, we worked on his mechanics a bit. And then afterwards, I was like, the most important thing to remember is I couldn't have fucking hit a single goddamn one of the pitches that you took today. I can't do shit. I can teach. Listen, those who can't do teach is very true. We are working on his swing. He is killing it. He's really, dude, he hit a couple of really nice ones today that would have been outside his range. We just, we worked on the footwork. We worked on the stance. We worked on all these things. And I was just like,
it's always that, man. As long as you have a good base, man, you won't go that far. I mean, you won't be missing that much. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And
with your feet, you know what I mean? Had them grounded as the way they should.
Yeah. And his biggest thing was his swing was executed a little late, so he kept pushing the ball down the right field line. And I said, listen, let's tighten the stance up a little bit. Let's get out in front of it and attack, start the swing half a second sooner. And, those two things, he had a couple of like real shots there. I was like, man, he was really ripping in the cages. So I was like, hell yes. And again, if I had gotten in there and taken one swing, I would have fucking hit the ball right in my own goddamn face. Baseball is not, I love the game, but I cannot fucking play it to save my life. Golf is a game where I can do something.
I grew up playing it, dude.
Yeah, I see the clips. I know you can play, man. Not me. I'm not good.
I can teach anybody, man. I can teach anybody the game and have you, very decent. Like I know it, you know what I'm saying, as well as I can play it. So
yeah,
it's one of those things.
I can coach little league baseball from the sidelines, but I cannot play. Yeah. I can't run. This I've got screws in my hips, so I can't play the game. It is what it is.
Yeah. One of those injuries is cool. Like I'm over here bitching about like hamstring and stuff like that. And I try, I'm one of those guys like, you know what? I've never like been injured. I always try to force myself to come back from him. Played was it the Wednesday following the injury when I got back here? Couldn't do it. Couldn't go. Waited another couldn't do it. But fortunately for me, I can hit the ball really far, and when you can hit the ball really far, you don't have to, you have all the time in the world to make it the first base.
There you go.
Get out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Get that Cadillac Trot single going.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%, man. What's going on with you, man? What's been up with you, man? And we talked about my family reunion. We had some stuff going on too. What's up,
man? It is just life in this world. I chase a 3-year-old every single day, and now I will also in about 8 months be chasing another one. So in my world, what's going on is Blood Doctor 2.0 2.0. I'm having another kid.
No way, man. Congratulations, brother.
Yes, indeed. Blood Doctor 2.0. Another miniature monster coming to the world.
Wow.
So that's happening.
What's up, man.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
Excited?
And dude, oh yeah. We've been hoping and trying and wanting to make that happen. Thank you, Keith, in the chat. Appreciate you. Also, thanks for welcome back, brother. Yeah, man, it's something I've been wanting. I wanted a second kid very badly, and now I get to have one, and I'm extremely excited about that. And we had a trip planned for Disney right when the kid is supposed to be born, so I don't know what the fuck we're gonna do about that. Obviously, we're gonna have to move some stuff around, but yeah, man, it's life is good around here because, as you know, it's like the whole thing in the NBA. It's like when you have a kid, you get the post-father bounce. The statistics go up, the shooting percentages, the batting percentages go up. So I expect to be delivering some really fire takes around here for the next few months.
I'm pretty sure you will be, man.
I'm bringing another one in the world. So
hey, cheers, my bro. Cheers to you.
Appreciate you.
Hell yeah. That's good, man. That's good. That's really good news, man. I'm very happy to hear that. Looking forward.
And what forum better to announce it than this one? Yeah. Not bringing good news to the world.
Podcast. That's fantastic.
It will. Hey, man, we'll make sure they get an appearance on here like the day after they're born.
Yeah, absolutely. I recorded a show of Truth Be Told Sports Podcast from the hospital the day after the Brandon and Bryce were born.
That's dedication. Dude, I was literally, the first time they handed me my son, I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. And my wife can confirm, and she wasn't thrilled about it, but it's true. The Patriots were playing, so I had it on my phone. And the second they handed me my son, Ramondre Stevenson ran for an 80-yard touchdown. Like the second he was born. It was just like, it couldn't have been better. And that was the Bills upset the Patriots, or the Patriots upset the Bills. It was just, it couldn't have been better. It was the moment. So sometimes life is good, and for these days, life is very good. I'm extremely happy, and we'll see. It's very early, so not sure if it's a boy or a girl yet, but I can tell you one thing. There will be no fucking gender reveal where I swing a bat at some dumbass balloon filled with some shit or light a firework on fire. We're not doing any of those things.
Are you going to do a gender reveal?
No.
Okay. Yeah, don't.
I mean, I don't think we are. Now that I'm saying no, I'm realizing that I'm not the person that actually makes that decision.
Yeah,
but I can promise you it won't be stupid. If we do something, it will be awesome. But now that I'm saying no, I'm realizing that she's watching right now going, oh, really? You think no? There might be that. She also might be, I feel like she thinks gender reveals are stupid too, but like, you know how you just never know sometimes. And sometimes the pregnancy changes everything. So, what you yeah, it won't burn down Arizona. That's right. Keith is right. Whatever we do, if we do a gender reveal, it will not burn down the state of Arizona. And if this were a sitcom, it would cut to the Blood Doctor burns down the state of Arizona. And would be an episode of Always Sunny.
Hey man, well, congratulations on that, dude.
Thank you. Awesome. That's where we're at, baby. That's the only thing that's going on. It's the only thing I care about. So
when you get that gender reveal you know what I'm saying, you guys finalize that date, let me
Oh
know.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ahead
Oh
of time,
yeah.
I'll try to make it out to Arizona, like to attend.
Oh
I'll,
yeah. Well, and
I'll let you
we're taking some road trips here over the next couple months, and there might be a stop in Los Angeles on the
Let's
way.
go.
So
That's all we need to
so
do,
there
man.
may be. So let's just say that it's really possible that
Mhm.
a live in person episode of this
Dude,
show
that
could
would
be
be
coming
fantastic.
very soon.
That's very. I
So
think that would be a great idea. I think we need to
I'm
make that happen.
saying shit
I think
is
we
shit
make
is
that happen.
real.
We need to do
It's
that
real
either
in
in
these streets.
Laughlin or in Vegas. Vegas will be able to do some street stuff in Vegas.
Hey,
Yeah, that would be
I
fun. That'll be
I will
fantastic.
be
Do some street stuff
I
in
will be in
Laughlin.
Vegas this weekend. Actually, last minute. Now we're actually going. We're
Okay.
going to see the Hoop Collective live podcast Saturday night.
Okay.
But I'll still be here on this show because we're going to talk about that show on this show after that. That's
Let's
how we
go.
do it. Let's go.
Okay. Hey,
So,
you ready to get in the show, man?
let's do this, man. We've done the Jay Leno dialogue monologue. Let's do this thing.
There's been a big news coming out of New York. The biggest news coming out of New York. Sean Diddy Combs was acquitted of 3 of the 5 charges.
The verdict.
You know what I'm saying? The verdict.
Man.
What do you think about that, man?
Man, this is one of those situations where I really want to shut the fuck up and say nothing. And I know that that's what I should do. And I know that that's a smart thing to do, but it's not what I'm going to do. Look, let me just put it this way. I'm not surprised. I'm not saying that he is innocent. I'm just saying I'm not surprised because, they swung for the fences on this shit. I mean, they really, really went for Diddy is a criminal monster mastermind. And I just think it boils down to the fact that anyone who has listened to his music knows that's not true. I'm sorry. That's horrible. I apologize. I'm just saying for real. Look, the dude's. I mean, he's just like the horniest motherfucker in the world, who clearly paid tons of people for sex. I don't know the other things. I don't know. I mean, again, we know what he did do. We know what he's guilty of. They swung for the fences on the other charges. Maybe they went too far. Like, maybe there should have been more charges of lesser things. They could have tried to stack years. Like, and I don't know. Again, I don't know. Like, I just don't. I mean, I'm not a legal expert. I don't know, man. It seems like the dude is an asshole. Like, that's for damn sure. Like, it just, the thing is that the more severe things he is accused of, which make him like a monster, he was not convicted of. And like, we do have the whole innocent until proven guilty, except when black in this country. And I'm not trying to bring up race, but it's like, everyone's going to assume he's guilty forever. Donald Trump was convicted of rape and he's president. Diddy was not convicted and everyone will think that he's a monster forever. I'm just saying, like, there's so many elements to this. It's just the worst gray area in the world, dude. It just is.
Agreed.
You know what? Film your freak offs and put them on the internet, and then it's pornography, and then it's fine. That's my advice.
So here are the counts, like, count by count, the 5 counts. Okay, he was count 1, racketeering conspiracy. That was the one they were trying to really get him for, but they had really zero evidence, like, to convict him.
What is racketeering?
Racketeering is like pretty much a criminal enterprise.
I know. I was hoping you would make the old nobody knows joke, but no. I'm with you. That's the swinging for the fences, right? Yeah, that's the really going for it. That's
what they were trying to go for. It didn't stick, and then happened. Okay,
that's the equivalent of like the RICO shit.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. So this is the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion against Cassie Ventura. When it comes to Cassie Ventura, not guilty on that. I kind of, there was kind of holes in it from when they read her text messages about, the free calls and stuff like that. It didn't seem like she was being coerced or forced to do anything when she's setting things up on her own to be, with prostitutes on her own. So I mean I hate it for her for this situation, because if she's been victimized, definitely I want her to see her justice. You know what I'm saying? I want her to get her justice. But
the only thing I'm saying is if he whooped her ass on camera, that is not the first time he whooped her ass. And
no.
if she was afraid of getting an ass whooping, she might have sent some text messages that were maybe not so true. But, you know, again, you know, in the words of Dennis, their phones did. And that's how it goes sometimes with these fucking text messages. They'll bring the Trevor Bauer thing. Listen, Trevor Bauer's a MAGA Republican douchebag piece of shit. But that girl, like, set him up, literally texted her friend his net worth, called him his next victim, then lied about her skull fracture, made up all these medical, like that dude was set up. I hate him, but he was set up.
He was set up.
And that's just, sometimes true is true. Right. In this case, you know, it seems that I don't know, dude. This is just the worst thing in the world. Like, I just hate, like, there's no, like, what do you ever, how do you do? There's no way to, like, you can't, like, wash your hands in this situation and be like, oh, well, Diddy's not a monster. It's fine. Like, what do you, how do you,
I mean, you can't, you know, it's going to be very crazy, like, to see what happens after this, for him moving forward.
I mean, his career is over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
Unless he pivots to MAGA.
I think he definitely needs to, like, gonna have to sit back, you know, say take a couple sits back. Count 3 for transportation to engage in prostitution with Ventura. He was found guilty of. I guess it's like bringing her to prostitutes. Okay, then the sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. I believe that was a former girlfriend, Jane. Found out guilty of it, but he was found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. When it comes to Jane. Both of those counts have held up to like 10 years in prison, so he's facing 20 years. How much of that 20 years do you think he's gonna do?
Dude, he's gonna serve like 18 months at the absolute most. He's not gonna do any time. He's rich. Rich people do not go to jail. The only way that rich people go to jail is if they murder someone directly.
Yeah.
Not indirectly. They have to directly kill them, or if you can prove that they raped someone. That is the only way that rich people go to jail. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. He's going to go do some fucking light sentence at a place where there's golf and tennis and ice cream. And then he's just going to go live with his $1 billion. Like, you know, he might not be able to make new music or whatever. But
I think he's about to get this OJ treatment a little bit, man. I think they're going to do, you know, that Tupac bird is still hanging over his head, and I believe that's gonna catch us, you know, catch some steam for the, you know, with it now. Like, especially after this trial, after they found all this stuff about him, they did all that, you know, the big ass raid, and you found all those bottles, and the only thing that really came out of it was like Diddy was like a sick, twisted individual. You know what I mean?
Man, I just think he can go to another country, and I think that they won't even. I think they'll just take his money and it won't matter. I don't think this is going to amount to anything, because I don't believe there's justice for crimes that rich people commit, no matter what the situation is. And I think he has too much money. You know, the right dollars in the right places means that, you know, he gets to go live with Russell Simmons in Bali or some shit. You know? It's
not Russell Simmons.
Hey, you know why Russell Simmons is in Bali, man? Because they got no.
Oh yeah, we all know.
We all know what Russell is doing.
Man, and what happened to those commercials? You remember those commercials back in the day for the Rush card? You used to get that shit.
No.
Like, it would be Russell Simmons, and it was like, I want to put the power of spending in your hand. You know, so I developed the West card. You know what I'm saying?
But yo, you know, man,
there's card and shit.
What channel was that on?
That was on BET, I believe.
Yeah, because he advertised directly on BET. If you didn't watch it, man, yo, man, have you ever?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably like some certain MTV, you know, time slot aired it too.
But yo, one of the craziest things in the world is when you watch BET and you will see the exact same McDonald's commercial that you saw on another channel, but it is reshot with black people. Like, all the jokes are the same. The concept is the same. It's just like, I'm just like, are you for real? Like, it is the craziest fucking thing in the world to me. We've segregated commercials, and that still exists in 2025, and nobody talks about it.
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, you know, it's just pandering.
I'm not saying that They're black people
pandering.
should be in McDonald's commercials, but
And
why
I
can't they
remember
just be?
I see like the wild most. I mean, just completely out of pocket commercial one time. Uh, and I've only seen. I saw it probably twice, and after like the second time, I was like, okay, yeah, I wasn't tripping the first time I seen it. This commercial is fucking wild. You know, since it was like a Church's Chicken commercial, and the mom, it was like a mother that came home, like a single black mom that came home. I'm not gonna say she was a single black mom. She just had two kids. You didn't, the dad was nowhere around. It was, wasn't in the commercial. She comes home from work or whatever, and she was all happy, and she's like, "Well, I brought Church's chicken home," and she holds the box up and stuff like that. And the little girls like jump up out of nowhere and does like some impromptu cheer about having Church's chicken. I was like, "Wow, this is fucking kind of like what is it? Tomfoolery, you know what I'm saying? or what kind of minstrel show is this shit? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah,
like what the hell?
Like everybody eats fried chicken. We don't really need to advertise to any specific group of people. Everyone wants fried chicken.
Right.
So,
and I mean, and I don't think we cheer like that for fried chicken.
No, I don't think so. They might as well like add a slice of watermelon to it and just be like, "Fuck you!" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like we're like, it's just absurd, man. Like, why do you need to shoot two commercials if you want to have black people in the McDonald's commercial? Just make them the McDonald's commercial. Who's watching a commercial that has black people in it from McDonald's and they're like, "Yo, I don't want to go to McDonald's anymore." Like, what are you talking? Like, nobody gives a fuck. Why does McDonald's even advertise? Like,
I mean, oh my god, oh my god, McDonald's is woke now. McDonald's woke now. Calvin got a job. They gave Calvin a job. He got an opportunity.
Now there's a reference.
Bless this man with an opportunity for a job.
Calvin got a job, man. That's a reference. There's a reference.
Yeah.
Let's go rob that motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm proud of that nigga, man. Let's go rob that motherfucker. Calvin got a job.
They pulled the mask in the right. I'm so proud of him. Let's go rob that
nigga. You smell like French fries. That's the best line of the whole thing. You smell like French fries.
Man, I missed Chappelle before he made his crazy hard right turn. Like, it's so weird what happened. Dude, money ruins everything. But anyway, let's continue on. We don't need to go over our fallen heroes. Well, we can continue. Foreshadowing.
American history was made when the most beautiful, the biggest, most beautiful bullshit ass bill was passed on the 4th of July by your president. Seen here, proving that he looks like he's signing a promissory note that he's not gonna poop his pants anymore. Your boy Donald Trump signs the big beautiful bill into law.
Yeah.
On the 4th of July.
The only good thing about all of this is that as he tears down every single government institution we have, when he is gone from office, we will be able to rebuild them in a much more secure and effective manner. Because our government truly wasn't working. That is true. And now he has completely torn it down. And it can be rebuilt much better. And if nothing else, that's what I keep telling myself as I drink. Yeah, I mean, obviously, but here's the thing. This bill, as every other bill, does exactly what every one of these bills does, is it takes money from poor people and gives it to rich people. And then there's some culture war bullshit here and there thrown in to, about climate or whatever to round people up.
A lot of confusion. A lot of I think it's a lot of dangling pieces where they're like, hey,
but ultimately,
here's no tax on overtime. But what they really don't understand is like, you know what? Your boss creates your schedule. And he doesn't have to give you overtime. He will put you at 35 hours. Could probably cap you at 35 hours a week. That way you don't see over 40 hours a week, and you would never, theoretically, so you would never go into overtime. That way you would never get that tax money.
And every single thing that they do is designed to move money from poor to rich people. I mean, that's all this stuff is.
That's definitely saving them money too.
Yeah, it's whether it's a healthcare bill, whether it's a financial bill, whether it's an energy bill, it doesn't matter. There's no actual different outcome. The Republicans have one goal: take money from poor people, give it to rich people. It's reverse Robin Hood all the time.
Oh yeah,
it's who they are. It's at least We know that about them. You know, I'm growing tired of, you know, performative bullshit from Democrats who don't do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
we
it does
won't.
a lot, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, it does a lot. There's a lot of crap, but like, I mean, there's the biggest thing about it. Like, people are getting a lot of pushback for it. I'm pretty sure you know, but I mean, you know, speaking to our listeners, is the Medicaid. Like, it's
yeah,
like $800 million or something like that. Like, they're being cut for funding from that. That includes
yeah.
SNAP programs. Those programs assist like the poorest of the poor of this nation. Um,
Most of
but
these things affect red states.
yeah, oh yeah, and that's the crazy part because they don't really realize it. They're still convinced that people are the lazy people. I
Yeah,
guess that they say they're going to stop all the lazy people from getting food stamps, stuff like that, and they'll finally go out and get a job. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't think they realize like how much it's going to affect them too.
Well,
So
they
like
will when they lose their Medicaid.
once some SNAP benefits get cut down there by these people who are so tired of lazy people living off of them. Once their benefits get cut off, what are they gonna do?
Well, I mean, you know, we lost how many 9 kids and 27 people or 30 people in Texas to a storm that, you know, sent out one warning at 1 a.m. because there wasn't enough resources to, like, you know, adequately inform everyone in the entire area. Like, you know, that's what we cut. NOAA, we cut the National Weather Service. Boom. You know, and that's exactly what happens immediately. Now you cut these things. And again, the craziest part about this is that the majority of people who are going to be affected by this are people in red states. They're voting for their own murder, and they're too stupid to realize it because they believe that voting for a Democrat means that they have to, you know, put their children into transgender indoctrination camp. You know, they're idiots. Republicans are idiots.
They're dumb, man. It's so wild, bro. Like, one of my
Some
biggest
supporters
things,
have a lower IQ.
one of my biggest things is like just following the Facebook page of our local news from our hometown, and just, oh man, the people amaze me, bro. Just how they're in it, say like something about them, but they don't see it in themselves. It was like, hey man, you got this on your face. And you're
Yeah.
like, hey man, do this, and they're like, no, here, and they're like, and you're like, no, right here, do this, and I'm like,
and every single one of them thinks that they're a goddamn super spy sleuth debater king who's figured out some secret that doctors and scientists don't want you to know about because they read it on a blog, and so somehow they figured it out themselves, but also they read it on a blog. You know, they'll claim both things. Again, it's weaponization of stupidity is what has gone on in this country, and it's, again, the thing is that none of these things are going to affect me. Like I hate to say it, but the people it's going to, it's not, and that's horrible. That's horrible. Yeah. It really is. It's awful. It's a really, for those people who are losing their Medicaid, and for those people who are being capped, and it's not every single person, but there are certain, people under different programs, blah, blah, blah. Those things are horrible. But again, a lot of those people fucking voted for it. So I don't really know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't, and for all the Democrats who are like, well, I didn't vote for this. Okay. But I bet you bitched about Bernie Sanders wanting to, do too much of this and that. And even though he was the only person capable of winning a popular vote and drawing independent voters, no. You want to tack to the right and court Republicans for some reason every single time. The Democrats learn no lessons. And then they do things like put on kente cloth on Juneteenth. I mean, they have no fucking idea what they're doing. And, that's why we're in the situation that we're in, because we have one party that's evil, that has a voter base full of fucking morons. And then we have one other party that can't stop purity testing itself to death. And
they can't, they just can't stop proving it that they're allies, man. I'm like, dude, okay, that's cool. Like,
and if one person has one belief that's different, then we can't support them, and we have to, there's way too much of that shit going on in the Democratic Party, and it has led to this situation. And long term, I still think things will be fine. Like, I know that for some people, life is horrible. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't fix that. I just think long term, again, when you tear everything down, that means that there's nothing to stop you from building a new one. So that is the one good thing about it. You just have to believe that there will be free and fair elections in 2026 and beyond, which I guess some people don't. But
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
I mean, those people could have voted for Kamala if they were so worried about it.
Get off the bus and go, actually go vote. You know what I'm saying? Especially these midterms coming up because,
I mean, maybe don't pick a candidate if you're the Democrats. Like, the thing about picking Kamala was always she polled at 1% when she ran for president. She generated no enthusiasm. She was the worst choice ever. And why would you just try to anoint her president? Like, what are we doing here? Like, the Democrats don't know how to do anything.
No.
And that's where we are. Now we're in moron land. Or as I saw 28 years later, and there's a moment where they're walking near a Shell gas station and someone has pulled the S off so that it just says hell. And I'm like, oh, it's America.
That's fucking funny. Hey, man, we missed a lot, due to not recording. What's a couple things that we missed?
Well, dude.
United States bombed Iran.
There's one. Yeah, we missed,
that whole fiasco.
That whole war part, the whole international nightmare relation situation.
War that Donald Trump is taking credit for ending.
How are we there's more war going on in the world right now than I would love if there were more Zoran Mamdani types. That would be amazing. I mean, the problem is that now Cuomo and Adams are going to do every single thing they can to tear him down as a duo, which again, it's just like, oh yeah, let's have the corrupt mayor and the corrupt governor take down the actually halfway decent person. But that's New York. Right. They don't want good things for themselves. They just want more police, and they'll vote that way. And people are idiots. You can't expect people to do the right things for themselves, and that's what happens. You end up bombing, Iran. And this whole, well, Iran can't have nuclear weapons. Okay, do they? Let's ask our national security advisor. A couple of months ago, Tulsi Gabbard's like, no, they don't have nuclear weapons. And then now they're like, oh, absolutely, they have nuclear weapons. It's all lies. Everything second is lies.
That's what I don't get because, just during that whole fiasco, Donald Trump's intelligence team are saying hey, the United States bombed the nuclear facilities, the 3 locations, whatever. But then the intelligence committee, his intelligence committee, tells him hey, we saw a lot of activity 2 hours before that. They could be moving things. We don't know for sure, but it looks like they were moving things. And then Trump's like, nah, you guys are idiots. What are you talking about? Who gave you this job? And everybody's looking at it you gave him that job.
This is we're a country. We're at war with a bunch of fucking morons at the controls. Yeah. I feel horrible for the people who are either going to war or having bombs dropped on them by this, insane. I mean, dude, I don't know. It's a couple weeks ago the world was stupid, but now the world is on fire.
Yeah,
I preferred the stupid one, but
Me too. I'd never thought that if there was any movie that this world I feel like we would be living in, I thought it would probably have been the Terminator, maybe to a certain extent, Back to the Future 2. But this is 100% becoming an idiocracy.
Well, the good thing is about idiocracy is it can still become Terminator. So don't worry. We might all get wiped out and it'll all be okay.
Hey, now, hopefully I'm not here when that happens. You know what I'm saying? When Skynet does its thing, hopefully I'm already gone.
It'll take
we missed some NBA news. First and foremost, shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder that became the 2025 NBA champions.
We were robbed of the greatest.
Luke Wilson, that's the only guy.
The most average man in the world.
Not sure.
I am so bummed that we were robbed of, the greatest potential finals game 7 that we could have seen.
Yeah.
The Thunder win, but I mean, it's just I can't remember an NBA championship that felt less like I don't know. Did you see the pictures of the Thunder's parade? Like
I
it
didn't
was
see any of
sad.
I mean, I didn't see a lot of the pictures. The biggest things I took from them was Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, like running around with his shirt off with the Canadian flag tied around like his neck, like he's Batman, like growing up. Or and then Jalen Williams, wilding out at someone called him the Asian Duke Dennis, and I can't unsee it.
Dude,
I can't unsee
there's
it.
like 5 people at this parade. It was
really?
Oh my god. It was I mean, it's like the most embarrassing championship parade I've ever seen in my life. Like there shouldn't be an NBA team in Oklahoma City. This team that won right now should currently be in Seattle. And this is just the dumbest thing in the world. You moved a marquee franchise to the middle of fucking nowhere. And you're like, oh, I can't believe nobody watches the game. Yeah, why would nobody watch the game? You chose a horrible fucking market. You put him in the middle of nowhere. No one gives a shit about this championship. I'm sorry. It's good for the Thunder. Like, I'm happy for both of their fans. It's good for them. But this is just, I mean, it's who fucking cares? Like, this is not like something people are gonna remember. Nobody gives a shit about the Thunder. Oklahoma City should not have a basketball team. I'm sorry.
They shouldn't. You're right about that. I agree with you. I mean, hopefully, like Seattle will. I mean, because they need it. They need a basketball team. They need one.
They'll bring them back when they expand.
Whatever's next.
When they expand, they'll bring.
Please give Seattle a basketball team first off, so they can stop crying.
No, they will because they'll give us the Sonics back, and then LeBron will get control of the Vegas franchise, and then they'll move probably like the Grizzlies or the Pelicans to the East.
All right, let me ask you this: does LeBron announce that this will be his last season?
No.
You think he plays beyond this coming season?
Bryce is going to play one season at U of A this year and then go to the NBA. Why would LeBron retire before he could play with Bryce?
Does he go?
I would love to see the Sonics come back. I would love to see the Sonics come back. No, LeBron's not retiring, dude. No, he's going to go wherever Bryce is drafted. He's going to go there. Okay. And if he can get Bronny there too, I think he will. The other scenario could be, a 1-year deal with a team that's, that's stacked. I understand that people were saying, LeBron wants to make as much money as he can because the max salary means that he's never been paid as much as his actual market value. And those things are true. But, at some point, if he really wants to win a championship, I think there's fire with this Knicks stuff. Mm-hmm. There you go. Bryce going to the Suns and LeBron joining him. I like that. But I actually think there's fire with this LeBron to the Knicks stuff. I think that's real. Mm-hmm. I think 2 scenarios could come to play. One,
you got Mike Brown as a coach. And LeBron. Mike Brown coached LeBron in Cleveland earlier in his career, right?
Yeah, and they have a good relationship still. Mm-hmm. Not perfect, but still decent. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: if let's say that the Knicks season doesn't start out in a way that works so perfectly, well, I'm pretty sure that Karl Anthony Towns and LeBron James' salaries match pretty goddamn well. And the thing is that I don't buy this DeAndre Ayton with the Lakers shit at all. He and Luka's gonna hate him. And dude, I could see the Lakers buying him out because it's not like they paid him a lot of money. They didn't give him a 2-year deal, but I could see a scenario in which the Lakers trade LeBron James to the Knicks for Karl Anthony Towns. I actually could see that happening in a scenario where Luka and Karl Anthony Towns are now the stars of the Lakers, and they buy out DeAndre Ayton and just say, get the fuck out of here, because most of his money is coming from Portland. His salary this year is not that big. And another scenario, if LeBron just becomes a nightmare, the Lakers could just buy him out and he could go sign with the Knicks on a minimum. I know that sounds insane, but let me put it to you this way. I don't think that LeBron finishes this season with the Lakers. Mm-hmm. No. And I don't think he retires. I think he plays next season. And then after next season, the NBA announces expansion and LeBron purchases the Vegas team and then he retires. But I think it's one more year after this one because he said before, my last year will be with my son. And he didn't say Bronny,
Right.
he said my son. He wants to play with Bryce. So he's going to play one season with Bryce, retire, own the Vegas team. That's what I believe 100%. And I just don't think his time with the Lakers is long. The Lakers are now Luka's team. Luka got handed to them. He got put in their lap. It's not LeBron's team anymore, and he knows that, and he doesn't like it. He's not finishing the season with the Lakers. I would bet I would put 10 grand on
that. First and foremost, shout out to Glenn Richardson, man. He's commenting, but they're not popping up over here on on our feed over here. So
we love you, big Glenn.
Man, appreciate it, Glenn. One of his biggest comments said, Hooley was right about the finals. I told you.
Yeah, but do you want? But honest question: do you want to be right in that way? I'm not even trolling. I'm honestly asking. Like, does that feel like that? Don't like you must feel the same way that I do. That we were robbed of something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Watching Halliburton go down, it kind of sucked for real.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks for real because
the Pacers were still winning at halftime.
It was a great season. So it was a great series because him and Shea going back and forth each game. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But the Pacers were still winning at halftime of Game 7, so no excuses.
Yeah.
The Thunder won. I'm just saying that I wanted that game to be decided on a last-second shot, no matter it was who made it. You know what I mean? I wanted to see Game 7 get that. I wanted the Kyrie shot. From the 2016 final. I know that was with 50 seconds left, but I'm just saying, I wanted that, and that was taken from us, and it blows.
That sucks, man. That sucks. That was a very terrible injury, to even see itself, and that kind of inspired our top 10 for this week. This week's
when I
top
said fallen
10
heroes earlier
is the top 10 most heartbreaking injuries in sports.
In sports.
According to the King of Doc, I think I have 10 this week. Right. So let's go.
By the way, just before we get into this, I just want to know. We have a text from Mrs. Blood Doctor who says, "No dumbass gender reveal. I'm not that patient." So gender reveals are banned. So we're all good on that one.
Okay, cool. Damn, I was just trying to get an excuse to come out there.
Well, hey, no, just come over because it's Tuesday. I don't even give a fuck. You're welcome, baby. You just come here.
Yeah.
We're doing a gender reveal because Hooley's coming. All right.
Hey, you know what I mean? Hey, on my account, that would be really, very dope. I really appreciate it, fella. So you and Miss Blunt Doctor.
Yeah, when you show up, we'll be like, Hooley's a man, gender revealed. So, and I want to clarify. Because it's good as top 10 most heartbreaking. It's like these injuries suck. Injuries are the worst. So it's like when you say top 10 injuries, to be clear, it's most heartbreaking. So these are the ones that are the worst.
These ones suck. You know what I'm saying?
It's the worst 10.
They are the worst 10. Worst 10 injuries. Like an injury that you like, man, that fucking sucks.
And there's many. And Hooley is on number 10 this week, my man. Tell us what it is.
Let's go get it. Number 10. Number 10 is gonna be, of course, from my youth, Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson playing against the Cincinnati Bengals took a hit and dislocated his hip. You know what I mean? And it had never been the same since then. If you don't know who Bo Jackson is, do yourself a favor, go Google it, man. Look up his highlights. Look up what he has to offer. Very promising career that was just very explosive from the beginning of it. There used to be a cartoon back in the day in the in the early 90s called the Pro Stars that Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Bo Jackson, the top pinnacle athletes of each sport. Hockey, Wayne Gretzky; basketball, obviously Michael Jordan. But football and baseball was one man, and his name was Bo Jackson. But he got that he sustained that injury. He never played football again after that. And then he played baseball here and there. Still made some plays here and there. Did some impressive things, but it was never the same. Never the same Bo Jackson. So number 10, Bo Jackson.
You want to know one of the great regrets of my life when I was a kid? I was at some athlete event, and some dude came up to me and was like, "Do you want to stretch with Bo Jackson on stage?" And I was like terrified, and I was like, "No." And then he went to find another kid, and then I changed my mind. We tried to get up there, but it was too late. And I was like, "Oh, I mean, it would have been 2 minutes. It's not a big deal." But like, I was
Right.
so like anxiety ridden. I was like being on stage. I don't know, and I was kind of a chubby kid, So it's one of those.
Yeah.
But I could have at least met Bo Jackson for a few seconds, and I blew it.
That
So
would have been cool, man.
yeah,
Should have been able
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, but at
All
least
right.
it's a decent story. Also, the time I blew it with Marissa Tomei, but we'll go there another day.
Yeah. Okay.
You
All
blew it
right.
meeting her, a chance at meeting her, not blew it with her. That sounded like I was way cooler than I am. I mean, I could have met her at a convention. Fuck it. I'm no Costanza. I'm way
Right.
cooler than Costanza though. So all right, fuck it. Number 9. Number 9. So it's interesting because this is actually one that predates really either of our youth. But it's Bill Walton. And the reason is that once Bill Walton's foot kind of started to fall apart, he was never really the same. But the thing is that Bill Walton was Jokic before Jokic. He was kind of one of the first ever passing big men who could completely control an offense. And he was the focal point of that, Lone Blazers championship. And I think he actually has another championship with Boston later in his career when he was more of a role player. But the thing is that Bill Walton's injury is another one that robbed him from being one of the all-time greats. Now, he was still able to contribute. He was still able to be a quality player for a couple of years. He had some time, again, playing with the Celtics specifically. But the thing is that he was on track to be like, a Hall of Fame contributor. And there's, another universe where there's like a Blazers dynasty. And so it's just very interesting how all of these things sort of fall and how one injury or multiple injuries can, derail a career and change the entire course of the league. And I really believe that this is one of them because, Bill Walton was just a special player. And, RIP, special dude. We all love all of him and Frank Caliendo, Has there ever been a player better than Detlef Schrempf? Like, Bill Walton was the best. And, but for real, man, yeah. But he was one of the first bigs who really was an elite passer. And that is part of the reason he was still able to kind of keep a career going. But I guess the league would be so different if Walton didn't break his foot. And that's just, one of those things.
Man, I remember the first time I've ever heard of Bill Walton, like back in, I would say 91, maybe 92. McDonald's used to do those souvenir cups for leading up to like the 92 games. And they had a bunch of like different old school basketball players, like Moses Malone that was on the cup. Bill Walton was the cup I kept getting. I was like, who the fuck is this white dude? So they keep, pushing this cup on. At first I thought it was Larry Bird, but then my mom was like, no, that's Bill Walton. And I was like,
Who is this
who?
white curly haired
And
motherfucker?
she's like, "Oh no, he was really good in basketball, but like he kept getting injured, so he couldn't play anymore." That's basically
Yeah.
how she explained like who Bill Walton was. But then I started seeing him like the commentary, saw him in a couple movies, saw him in a couple old ass commercials where they talked about like the great big man. I think it was a Shaq
Yeah.
commercial where like he was up next or whatever, and it was like
Yeah.
rest in peace to Bill Russell, rest in peace to Wilt Chamberlain, and rest in peace to Bill Walton. They were the three the top big guys that Shaq was supposed to be taking the reins from. So,
Yeah.
but like even then, I was like, he looks completely out of place. Like, why did they put this white dude here? You
And
know what
that's
I
the
mean?
thing is, Bill Walton is a dude who could play in today's era. Like his
Right,
game would have translated to
right. Is
today literally
recognizable
perfectly.
faces. Here's Bill Russell, and here's Wilt Chamberlain, and here's Kenny G. Oh, that's Bill Walton. My bad. I got number 8. All right, number 8. Number 8 on the list happens to be what happened to Kevin Ware from Louisville. He fractured a tibia. If I watched that, it was during the March Madness game. I forget which round against Duke. I'm a big Duke fan. I was trying to watch the game before I left out for work. I remember him going. I think he was trying to land a jump shot, like doing a jump shot, and like his landing was just completely messed up, and he broke his. But you kind of, if you look at the graphic right here, right, whoever's standing here in these khakis is blocking his leg because the bone went right through his shin. It was probably one of the most graphic injuries I've ever seen, like live or watching TV. You could tell like just from the reaction of his teammates and how they reacted to it. A lot of them cried. I think Louisville went on to win win the tournament that year. I have to look it up, but I'm not 100% certain. But he was definitely a driving force for inspiration. For that Louisville Cardinal team to push further into that tournament. But that injury, man, if you haven't seen it, I wouldn't even recommend anybody go YouTube because it was horrific. Like you heard the bone snap
It
on
was
live
kind
TV.
of the first major social media injury. Like one
Yeah.
of the first like really major injuries that occurred when like Twitter had video and shit.
Hmm.
And I think you're right. I think actually Louisville won the title against unfortunately Michigan that year, but um it is true. Like that injury was horrific and is one of the first ones that like really, the world like saw,
Hmm.
you know. So that one was brutal, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and also okay, one more text, one more comment from I need to get her on YouTube so she can actually put these in the chat. But she says, Hoolie's always welcome, but we have to go to LA this year because she wants to see LeBron play because she has a crush on LeBron. So
Thank you.
so we will
I'm
not
glad.
be
I'm
going.
glad I'm always welcome. That's good to know.
Yeah,
I
you
will
are.
show up.
And that's why I'm in love with Marissa Tomei. So all right, number 7.
Okay.
So speaking of historical balance of power shifts and injuries changing the way that an entire league goes. When Grant Hill was playing for Detroit, he was one of the greatest players in the league. And anyone who was around in that time can remember that like Grant Hill and Kobe was a very real debate about who was better. And when Grant Hill went to Orlando and he had his, basically slew of ankle injuries, he was never the same player again. He ended up going to Phoenix and having kind of a second life as a defensive wing. He actually got a few votes for defensive player of the year a couple of times in Phoenix, but he was a role player. Grant Hill was one of the best players in the league, like one of the 3-4 best players in the league in Detroit. And when he went to Orlando, it was a major power shift. Everyone forgets that he nearly convinced Tim Duncan to leave San Antonio and come with him. Tim Duncan was a free agent after only 3 seasons in San Antonio, and there wasn't restricted free agency in the same way that there was now. Tim Duncan nearly left San Antonio to go with Grant Hill to Orlando. And that was, Doc Rivers and Grant Hill basically trying to convince Tim Duncan, and they damn near did it. And if they did, who the hell knows how those things go? But they weren't able to do it. Orlando ends up acquiring Tracy McGrady instead, and Grant Hill is never quite healthy. That leads to Tracy McGrady being a star, but things not working there, so he ends up leaving for Houston. But, Orlando has had so many almost great eras. There was, it started with, Shaq and Penny. But, the Shaq era is their fault. The Lakers offered more money. The Magic didn't want to match it. How you didn't want to pay the maximum amount of money for Shaq, I don't know. Shaq was worth every penny. But they tried to fix it with Grant Hill. His ankle falls apart. Just a bummer. But the NBA would be very, very different if Grant Hill was healthy. There are a lot of different things. There are a lot of different outcomes from 2002 to 2006. Specifically, the 05 and 06 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Those were not good years for the NBA. And if Grant Hill had been healthy, Grant Hill and Tracy McGrady easily could have gone to an NBA Finals. We could have a whole different history. Like that injury is a major change in the NBA. And I know that Tim Duncan still didn't come. The injury came later, but just the point is that point in NBA history, 2001, when Grant Hill goes from the Pistons to the Magic, there's so many. That's one of the largest changes in history that
I agree with you.
that had so many things revolving around it. So
I think you asked me this question one time before, like which NBA star that without a ring that you would, want to see like get a ring. And I believe I answered Reggie Miller, but I'm gonna take that answer back and put and exchange it with Grant Hill.
yeah,
Grant Hill is the reason I like Duke. Big reason I like because he was in on that 90 so that pass. He threw the pass to Christian Laettner.
yeah. Here's the pass to Laettner.
The very next year, like he took Duke and put them on his shoulders and made them, in the team that they were. that they were going to be. And then coming into the league, like he was heralded as like the next coming to Michael Jordan. And I believe, he had the tools to be that. To be the nice.
He lived up to it for the first 6 years.
Yeah,
dude, I think he lived up to it.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't Michael, but he was putting up 22, 7, and 5. He was awesome.
I mean, he was balling. Like, and even saying, and defensively, I thought he was probably one of the few players, even new players, that could guard Michael Jordan, give Michael Jordan the fist. Like, he was a very sound basketball player. Remember his Fila shoes, sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Like he had his signature shoe. I
had multiple pairs of Grant Hills.
3 pair of them.
Yep.
3 pair of them. And
dude,
3 pairs of
me too.
Hills.
I had so many. Dude, I had so many. I had Grant Hill. I had Penny. I had Jordan. Dude, yes, 100%. The Grant Hills were fucking awesome, dude.
They were my favorite shoe.
That's what I wore to basketball camp. I wore because I loved my Jordans, but I would wear my Grant Hill because that was just you could make the best cuts. Those shoes were awesome.
Oh yeah, those shoes are dope.
Ironic since he fucked up his ankle.
That sucks, man. That definitely sucks. Like him not getting the championship and like the injuries. Go look at a picture. Like Google a picture of his ankle. He has so many ankle injuries. Like his ankle is like.
I think he came back too soon. I think that even he would probably acknowledge that there was a drive to come back so quickly. I think if he had waited, I think there's potential. I just think because the problem is he kept re-injuring it. And I just believe if he had given himself more time to rehab, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying that one I think there was a little bit of, but that's also life, dude. Everyone does it. Tyrese wouldn't have torn his Achilles if he didn't play Game 7. He knew he had a strained calf. He tried to play through it, and this shit happens. It is what it is.
Right. And that sucks, dude. That really does.
It does.
Number 6. Number 6. We're at number 6, right? Number 6 on my list. Lot like Kevin Ware's injury, but this was the Paul George. This injury was like a exhibition, USA basketball exhibition back in 2015. Coming down the court, I think he's probably trying to make a defensive play. Foot gets stuck, so something happens and his leg just snaps like into a fucking L on the I guess what they call it, the station or whatever, the basketball, the rim or the goal or whatever. Obviously he missed a significant amount of time. I honestly don't believe Paul George has been the same since that injury coming back. So when he was with the Pacers or like even beyond that, it was just a horrible injury. And this is at the wrong time because like this is the time like we're gearing up for the Olympics. We're getting really excited about the the Olympic team that's going into like 2016. We getting excited about that team, and then this dude gets injured. Coach K has to come out on the court like, you know what? That's the end of the game. This happened. It sucks. If it was a college kid, it would have been as bad. But now, I think that injury also made a lot of people rethink about, playing for Team USA. In their with their NBA contracts in mind. You know what I mean? So I think that was terrible. You remember that one?
Oh yeah. So I want to say a couple things about Paul George. Because I know that he gets clowned a lot for, the podcast P and all that shit. I want to say a couple things. Number one, go watch the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals when LeBron James and Paul George went back and forth. And Paul George basically played LeBron to a draw through 7 games. Mm-hmm. And the Heat just prevailed. Mm-hmm. But go watch that series. That is Paul George at the height of his absolute prime.
Amazing.
The 2013 Eastern Conference Finals, Paul George was incredible. He was as good as LeBron James for an entire conference finals.
He sure was.
Everything on the Clippers was garbage, save for the 2021 Western Conference Finals against my Suns. And everyone forgets that game 1 of the 2021 Western Conference Finals when Booker and Paul George fucking go back and forth for like 5 minutes, just buckets. One of the greatest games of all time. The Suns ends up winning. Booker, I think, had 40. But Paul George, Kawhi's injured. Nobody else can do a goddamn thing. He's carrying the team himself. So for all of the clowning that we do on Paul George, people forget how good he was. That injury took out multiple Pacers seasons. It's precipitated his trade to Oklahoma City, which is what precipitated the trade to the Clippers and blah, blah, blah. But that ruined multiple Pacers chances. There were opportunities for a championship. Yes, that is the absolute. Paul George was unreal.
It was crazy.
Real.
As a Heat fan, I was like, man, why can't we just put somebody on this motherfucker? Like, he doesn't miss any shots whatsoever.
So let's give him flowers for being one of the best players on the court in both an Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals, 8 years apart. 8 years apart after a major injury. But all of those things being said, man, this injury robbed him of that his power, his
it zapped him a little bit, bro. Like
he's become so much of a jump shooter.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like just watching him get to the rack and finish at the, at the cup.
Yeah.
Like
young Paul George was an athletic monster.
Mm-hmm. He did it like no other. He did it like no other during his run. With Indiana prior to the injury. Crazy.
Yeah, and I do, man. They should probably bring him back. We should find a way to get Paul George to the Pacers for one more season, like to be like a seventh man off the bench. Yeah. Like I'd root for that shit. All right, we're on number 5, right?
Yeah, number five.
Well, hey, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. It's Tyrese Halliburton. Listen, again, this is one of the worst injuries ever. It took not only did it take, again, let's say the Pacers win Game 7. That is the greatest finals upset of all time. It's the greatest series of all time. As much as I'm dogging Oklahoma City, the fact is that's about their location, right? The team itself won 68 games. They're a monster. They're phenomenally talented. They're so young. They're as close to a dynasty after one championship as you could be, because we know that there's probably going to be more. But what was taken from us is one of the greatest potential, 3 quarters of basketball that any of us are ever going to see. And that's sports, and that's injuries, and that sucks. But now let's consider what's happened in the wake of that, right? Miles Turner is now a Milwaukee Buck because the Pacers didn't want to pay into the tax and a gap year where Tyrese Halliburton is going to be hurt. They didn't want to pay Miles Turner fucking a lower salary than they paid him last year. He's getting $26 million a year from the Bucks. And here's another thing. They didn't just lose Miles Turner. They lost him to a division rival. The Pacers have absolutely owned the Bucks. And a big reason is because Miles Turner. And I'm not saying that Miles Turner is a better player than Brook Lopez, but he makes it difficult for Brook Lopez to stay at the rim because Miles Turner can stretch the floor. And he fucks up what the Bucks want to do, and now he's going to fuck up what the Pacers want to do. And so this injury has shifted the balance of power so much because Giannis might have been asking out, and now he might stay. Giannis might have been gone from the Bucks, which could have given the Pacers even more opportunity to get back to the finals. And now he's staying, and one of their best players plays from them, and that all directly stems from this Tyrese Halliburton injury. And it's just that's this turning point shit I'm talking about. If Tyrese Halliburton doesn't tear his Achilles, Miles Turner is definitely still on the Pacers right now, regardless of if they won or not. Mm-hmm. And Giannis probably gets traded somewhere else. And round we go. And this is just how, and now Dame Lillard is fucking waived like ripples in a pond, man. Yeah. That's the interesting thing to me. Now Brad Beal's probably going to get waived from the Suns, which I hate, because we almost had a trade with Miami, but then it fell apart. Just do whatever they want. Who cares? As long as it's not Devin Booker, just fucking do it, man. I don't know. Right, but this is the game. This is the game.
All right. Wait. Number 4. Number 4 comes to us, guys. Like I think we have a re-entry from football. DeMar Hamlin, goes into cardiac arrest on national TV on a Monday night against the Bengals. I think it was against the Bengals. Bro, that was like just living through that whole moment, like going back and thinking about it. I kind of had the game on in the background. I think me, Pearl and I we were chit-chatting about something, and like I was looking at the screen, wondering why they were doing the same thing over and over. They kept showing someone. I was like, someone must be injured. Then I look and see like there's an ambulance on the field. I'm like, oh, what the fuck happened? Did someone blow out a knee? Did someone do this? Then they showed Damar Hamlin, making the tackle, standing up and pass, and then passing out again. And just to see that happen on a football field, like someone damn near died. Honestly, I think he died. He was dead for like a little bit. Brought back to life and rushed into the ambulance. Rushed into an ambulance and into a hospital where thankfully, saying the doctors there did their thing and and brought him, got him back into good health. And like now, it's weird, it's crazy because this dude's back on the field playing football again. But I think almost dying is definitely a big injury that. Well, dying. I think dying on the field, but they brought him back, but not dying. You know what I'm saying? Like almost dying is a pretty big injury to come back.
It's pretty fucked up that we put him at number 4, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it could be. He has every right to be number 1. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, but he came back to life and he's still playing football. So
and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing: is last year he was good. Like he's not a starting safety, but he actually he's a quality, rotational safety in the NFL. And before that, he was literally just a special teams dude. So not only did he come back, but he got better. He took that drive and became a better player and went from special teams to actually playing in the Bills secondary. I think that's just pretty cool.
The biggest thing I love, man, all of the support he got, bro, from everybody.
Yeah.
All of the support from like every different team, saying they were in Seattle. Not Seattle, but in Cincinnati. Just the fact that his family, he and his family showed much gratitude to like the the EMS workers and the hospital staff in Cincinnati, like to help him get back. I thought that was really dope. That's crazy. Number 4 though, even Damar Hamlin come back with cardiac arrest.
Number 3. So number 3 is, by the way, D Rose. By the way, Meta should be supporting the show. We're both wearing Meta Wayfarers, but so number 3 is not as much of a, again, Damar Hamlin guy, but Derrick Rose is the great what if of the NBA, the great lost monster of the NBA. It's really forgotten at this point because he came back and was a quality player, but was completely different. Derrick Rose was a physical machine, unlike anything that we've ever seen in the NBA, like ever. There was never a dude who was 6'3", who had this level of like hops and this level of talent. Like, you have Russell Westbrook who, had the same hops, but, he can't shoot, can't defend, Derrick Rose could shoot, pass, defend, dunk. He was everything. I used to just go on YouTube and watch Derrick Rose dunks. Like I would just Google Derrick Rose dunks and just go on YouTube and just watch this motherfucker dunk the basketball. That's all I would do. Because watching him play was it was a thing of art. He was spectacular. He was a rightful heir to Michael Jordan in Chicago. And that first torn ACL was it was a backbreaker. And then, he immediately injured himself again upon coming back. And at that time, I trolled Chicago fans. I remember on Twitter, I'm like, oh, he'll never be the same again because I was a douchebag, but also because I was hurting and I decided to take it out on them. It's one of my least favorite things I ever did, honestly. I don't think I was really trolling. I was just like, he's never going to be the same again. I'm very honest about injuries. Injuries suck. I hate them. But anyone who watched Derrick Rose from 2009 when he was drafted to, 2013, you were like, oh my God. And it just dude, we were robbed of that dude was, again, he was the rightful heir to Michael Jordan in Chicago.
Oh yeah, in Chicago, 100%.
It's not
just watching that. I remember that year that Bulls team was so good. Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah. I think there was a very young Jimmy Butler on that team too.
Very young Jimmy Butler, who was a role player that they all hated.
Very worried about. I was worried about that Chicago team.
They all hated Jimmy Butler because he would talk about how he was going to be one of the best players in the NBA, and they were like, "You're fucking nobody, young, and shut up, stop running your mouth." And eventually he got there, but that was after D Rose tore his shit up. Like, yeah, it's true. Glenn makes a good point. Glenn just said in chat the fact that Rose salvaged a long career is amazing, but he was never the same dude again. He became a nice passer who was a mid-range jump shooter, and Tibbs kept his career going. Here's the thing, dude. D Rose's career would not have continued if Tom Thibodeau did not keep signing him. Like, I'm not saying that Rose didn't deserve to play. I'm just saying that, like, he was no longer the same dude, and teams were no longer interested, and Thibodeau kept him around. He had a really nice year for New York one year, but he was never, ever the same dude that he was. That 2011, 2012 years, those were beyond special.
Yeah, they're very special.
Yeah, he was on some prime Michael Jordan, prime Dr. J shit. Like, he was a wizard with the basketball.
Yeah, he was.
And Brittany used to get mad at me because I would be like watching videos of him when I was supposed to be doing other things. Like, I loved Derrick Rose, and it just sucks what happened to him because he is someone, again, the ripples of the NBA, like, a lot of times it's injuries.
Yeah.
It blows, but it's reality. Yeah. And that's what makes a dude like LeBron like unreal. It's, she did say turn that shit off, Glenn. You're right. It's very true. She literally actually said that one time. For real.
She said turn that shit off. That's did.
Factual.
I can hear it. Process saying shit. Turn that shit off. Why you in here watching this shit? It's not shit. Like, if you
we should get them together, but also we should not get them together. Like,
give it a chance.
Yeah. Like, we should like we all need to have dinner, but also, like, I fear for you and I's safety if that occurs. Like we need like a running head start. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll start talking and they'll be like, he does that too. And we'll look at each other like, oh no. And we're gonna need a running head start. We'll get a boat. We'll have a boat ready to go, and we'll run to the boat, and we'll just go drink for 3 weeks, and then we'll come back and deal with it later. Like, what could go wrong?
Where have you been? My phone died. For 3 weeks. Yeah.
Number two.
Hey, man, this was a very terrible injury. If you've seen any injuries like in pro football, when people think about injuries in professional football and NFL, the first injury that if they're overhit like me, the first injury that pops in their head is this one right here. Joe Theismann fractured tibia and some other shit, and fibula. Monday Night Football game against the New York Giants. Lawrence Taylor. If you don't know who Lawrence Taylor is, you better Google him. Because I don't have time to be talking to young people about explaining things to people. So you're apparently this smart person, so use your smartphone and look them up. But Lawrence Taylor is one of the most feared defenders in the NFL. One of the biggest hitters. He was Ray Lewis before Ray Lewis was Ray Lewis. He was, he was just a menace out there. Gets around the edge, tackles Joe Theismann for it would be a sack, but Joe Theismann's leg decides to crumble up like a piece of paper, and broke his leg in several spots. Like, so you see these the injuries right there, but he broke his leg in several spots. Never played another down again. That's a hell of an injury. One of those injuries you would never come back from. I'm pretty sure he has some type of, some PTSD that he had to deal with, since some depression is probably up in there and to add to it. But damn, dude. And I mean, how would you feel? Let me ask you, how would you feel if you got injured in that and they kept showing that over and over and over and over? And we're here like close to 40 years later, and we're still talking about it.
I mean, I think that shit is disrespectful, honestly. Like, I know that it's a million cameras, and I know that there's always going to be something, but there's got to be some sense of like respect for the individual, and there's not. And I do think that today we're better about it. I think that we do a better job of not televising those replays. But you mentioned the Kevin Ware thing, and dude, they showed every angle of that shit over and over again. And that was, one of those things where like we were like talking about that at work the next day. You know what I'm saying? People were like, did you see the Kevin Ware injury? And the thing is Kevin Ware was not like a top tier prospect. It wasn't like Kevin Ware was going number 1 overall. It's not like everyone knew who Kevin Ware was. Yeah.
Dude coming off the bench.
But everyone was talking about that injury. And the same thing, Glenn, as Glenn said right there, his uncles, my mom talked about that. My mom talked about the Theismann thing. And my mom loves football. My mom actually is like a diehard football fan, which is one of the reasons my mom is one of my best friends in the world. Yep, I said it. I'm going to fuck. I love my mother. Mama's boy right here and proud. And my mom, a diehard football fan, I remember she was saying, she would tell stories about when Theismann broke his leg. And it's just because it was literally like, again, that was news outside of just the football world. And that's probably, we talked about Kevin Ware being like the first social media injury. Theismann is one of the first like major, maybe aside from the one I'm about to name.
Major injuries,
The one that for number one, the one that's number 1 overall, this is just the greatest loss in the history of sports, probably. I mean, we could argue. I mean, we didn't get the Marlins pitcher from a few years ago is not on the list. I can't remember his name. I feel terrible right now for not remembering his name, but dude was like one of the best pitchers of the game and died in a boating accident.
Fernando.
Yeah. And we probably could have had him on the list, but it's a tough list. But anyway, another one. This is the first one that like shocked the sports world forever, and again changed the balance of power forever. And this is in 1986, number 2 overall pick, Len Bias. This is the dude who was going to cement the Boston Celtics dynasty into the 90s. He overdoses on cocaine and passes away. And like this kind of thing was basically never seen before. Like it wasn't a court injury. It wasn't on the field. I mean, it was cocaine. And it's not even necessarily a sports injury, but it is like Len Bias was basically the dude who was supposed to take over from Larry Bird and Kevin McHale and all that. He was the dude who was going to carry them into the 90s. And he passes away. And that almost broke the Celtics for a decade, maybe 15 years, because the Celtics floundered all throughout, the 90s into the early 2000s. And they had acquired this pick despite having so much talent. And it's one of the greatest what ifs in the history of the NBA because it allowed, the rest of the Eastern Conference to kind of grow. And the Celtics just got old and fell apart. This is the thing, is that you never get the number 2 overall pick when you have the level of talent that the Celtics did at that time. And through, a lot of work, they had done so and some luck. And here we are. And, he never made it to the league. And it's one of those things that, again, it completely changes the balance of power. Like Michael Jordan winning 6 championships is somewhat tied to Len Bias passing away.
Oh, absolutely.
The Pistons winning 2 straight championships is somewhat tied to, Len Bias passing away. Like,
right. My dad was a huge Maryland Terrapins fan. That was his school, so he loved Maryland. So I remember him talking a lot about Len Bias. And one is saying, he did. I wouldn't say he didn't like Michael Jordan, but he feels like what old heads feel about LeBron. You know what I'm saying? But that's how my dad felt about Michael Jordan. Like David Thompson was his guy, and then Dr. J. But he really, really, really loved Len Bias at that point in time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was just, when he heard about the story, he said he was heartbroken. He said, saying this the death of Len Bias, just the death of this dude, drove my dad to tears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's somebody that has all this promise in the world, is out literally celebrating being drafted to the Boston Celtics, and not even 12 hours later is dead of an overdose. That opened, so that death itself, like, not only changed the culture of the NBA, but saying there's drug policies that have been put in different drug policies that have been put into place to change because of the death of him.
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff that happened after that is directly related to but choosing Darko Milicic over Carmelo Anthony because you're a fucking moron is not the same thing.
Right.
That's just blowing it. We've all blown draft picks, but I'm just saying that I'm talking about the two titles the Pistons won in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Len Bias not being there for the Celtics, because the thing is, you look at the Celtics just faded because Larry Bird was still great, but the injuries began to take their toll. Mm-hmm. And, by the end of the 80s, he wasn't Larry Bird anymore. And, that's why Larry Bird's career was so much shorter than a lot of the greats, because injuries just, injuries just took their toll. And it's kind of amazing how much he did in the short time that he was there.
He just did everybody in his hand. Like, do what?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Danny Ainge is Mr. Mormon, and now his son is Mr. Has a job he doesn't deserve. Joe, that shit's for another day, man.
Yeah, it's for another day, man. We getting close on time, bro.
Let me tell you one thing. I want to say one thing real quick. One thing that I missed this in what we missed, but Lalo Schifrin, who composed the original Mission Impossible theme, passed away. He's 93 years old, so the man lived a good life. But everyone who knows me knows I'm a Mission Impossible addict. One thing I love about this song is anytime that you hear like a spy song from any sort of knockoff anything, it's always a knockoff of the Mission Impossible theme. And another thing that I love about this song, one of my favorite anecdotes about it, is it's written in 5/4 time. So for most people, that's a little bit different than standard music, right? And they had American Bandstand when the original Mission Impossible show came out. They had the Mission Impossible song as one of the songs on American Bandstand, and none of the fucking kids could fucking figure out how to dance to it because of the 5/4 time. So they're all like they could not figure this shit out. And it's one of the ultimate white people don't have rhythm movement moments in history. And it just makes me laugh. And still to this day, here's what I will say. Name me one movie that's not a superhero movie. Fair enough, superhero movies have themes that we know. But name me a single movie or franchise, anything that has a theme song that is more iconic than Mission Impossible. I do not believe that you can find one. Maybe people would say Superman, Batman, whatever, Spider-Man, whatever. Fine. But in terms of non-superhero movies, I really don't think you can find a more iconic song than the Mission Impossible theme, which has now lasted 70 years.
Jaws.
And, R.I.P. to Lalo Schifrin.
Yeah, the score from Jaws. I think that's pretty iconic.
Jaws, okay, fair enough. That's a very iconic one.
Is it as iconic as Mission Impossible? I don't know.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But that's what we're talking about right here. Jaws is another incredible like we all that's major, right? But so that's the level we're talking about to me. And so, I'm just saying that I feel again, we all know I'm a Mission Impossible stan. I'm a Tom Cruise stan. Everyone knows it. I'm not going to deny it. It is what it is. But I still think one of the most iconic film scores of all time. Jurassic Park and Star Wars.
Star Wars is definitely up there.
So again, we're talking Star Wars is basically superhero stuff. Jurassic Park, I'll give you Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park is an incredible. That theme song is known. That's fair. That's a great one. If you've watched the show Hacks, the Jurassic Park thing is an even better joke. So, but all right, man. What's up on Truth Be Told? What we got coming up?
Man. Hopefully,
Days of Thunder 2 is happening, Glenn. Days of Thunder 2 is happening. That shit is confirmed, brother. Don't even worry. It is happening. Sorry, Glenn just said in the chat that he needs to do Days of Thunder 2. That shit is happening, bro. Don't worry. It's on. It is on. And he's trying to get Brad Pitt to do it with him.
Don't forget you have homework, and I think I
have my homework. Let's tell the people about my homework. Tell
okay, so we're doing this thing now, like where we were talking. What brought it about? I was watching the Karate Kid the other day. I was watching the Karate Kid, and that scene where they were on the date with Allie with an eye, and LaRusso goes on a date, and the place they go to, golf and stuff, is in the town I live in Norwalk, California. Then I realized they came all the way from the fucking valley. The valley is probably 45 minutes away. Okay, and then plus they going through traffic, probably hitting the freeways, probably some hit some traffic or whatever. They the car breaks down a couple times, but I was thinking this is probably why she broke up with him. So I'm talking to this guy. I'm talking to my esteemed co-host here, and he's like, I've never seen the Karate Kid, and I'm like, I will fight you. I will fight you. How have you not seen the Karate Kid? So he has an assignment. He has to watch the Karate Kid and give me a report.
Okay.
Because you haven't seen it, but
that's better.
You mentioned Days of Thunder. I've never seen Days of Thunder.
You've never seen Days? Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna watch Karate Kid, and you are gonna watch Days of Thunder.
Let me see if I can
find. And we are gonna report back. And here's what we're gonna do. Here's how we're gonna make this interesting. Okay. We are going to explain the plot to each other in a way that we agree that the other one paid attention. Okay, because I'm not dealing with this. I was on my cell phone. No. I'm gonna watch the Karate Kid. I am going to invest myself.
You watch the Karate Kid.
Oh, okay. I will. I'm gonna have hard opinions. I am going to have hard opinions on the Karate Kid, and I expect the same on Days of Thunder. That's where we're at.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna watch the Days of Thunder hardcore. I'm gonna watch it.
Deal.
And then next week. We'll come back.
Okay, so this is the new segment. This is the new segment is movie homework. We're doing it. I'm with it. I love it. This is great. I feel bad for you, Hooli, because all of your movies are Tom Cruise movies. It's just going to be Tom Cruise. You're just going to have to deal with it.
I've seen a lot of Tom, so I should be good. I've seen a lot of Tom Cruise movies.
Okay, well, hold up real quick. Before we go, I just got to ask then.
What's up?
Jerry Maguire. Great movie or greatest movie?
It's a great movie. I won't put it.
All right, cool. I'll take that.
It's a great movie. It really is a great movie. Hey, all right. So we're out of time here. Thank you for tuning in to the King of Doc podcast. You can always catch us here on YouTube, the King of Doc podcast here. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, like this video. That way this thing can get bumped up to some other stuff, and then and we work out some algorithms and we everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you do that. Shout out to the Lead Sports and Entertainment Network for allowing us to come on, giving us
a platform to do our
thing every week. But we are the King and Doc podcast. Hey, shout out to Big Glenn. Shout out to Miss Blunt Doctor. Shout out to Pearl because I saw her she was watching on Facebook. Shout out to everybody checking in. You feel me?
We love all y'all, man, so much. We appreciate the comments too. That's the best part. The comments are the best part, man. I appreciate it all. Text, whatever. We're gonna set up a text line. We're gonna do this. Hey, what's up?
Hi. Is it good morning?
No,
it's good morning. It's good.
It is good morning. It is good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good morning.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming back next Saturday, 11 p.m. Pacific time. We're the King of Doc podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. That's all I got.